I don't know if I ever mentioned this before, but I am super good at video games. I'll bet I could beat anyone in my grade head to head. Unfortunately, Dad does not exactly appreciate my skills. He's always getting on me about getting out and doing something active, and that would be the case after dinner.
You know, Greg, you should really be outside doing something active, not playing your games.
Why do that when you can play sports like football and soccer in a video game without getting all hot and sweaty? But as usual, Dad didn't see my logic. Dad is a pretty smart guy in general, but when it comes to common sense, sometimes I wonder about him. I'm sure Dad would dismantle my game system if he could figure out how to do it, but luckily the people who make these things make them parent-proof.
Dagnab these fancy gadgets.
Every time Dad kicks me out of the house to do something sporty, I just go up to Rowley's and play my video games there. Unfortunately, the only games I can play at Rowley's are car racing games and stuff like that. Because whenever I bring a game up to Rowley's house, his dad looks it up on some parent's website, and if my game has any kind of fighting or violence in it, he won't let us play. I'm getting a little sick of playing Formula 1 racing with Rowley, because he's not a serious gamer like me. All that you have to do to beat Rowley is name your car something ridiculous at the beginning of your game, and then when you pass Rowley's car, he just falls to pieces.
Bad fart ahead.
Anyway, after I got done mopping the floor with Rowley today, I headed home. I ran through the neighbor's sprinkler a couple times to make it look like I was all sweaty, and that seemed to do the trick for Dad. But my trick kind of backfired because as soon as Mom saw me, she made me go upstairs and take a shower. I guess Dad must have been pretty happy with himself for making me go outside yesterday because he did it again today. It's getting really annoying to have to go up to Rowley's every time I want to play a video game. There's this kid named Fregley who lives halfway between my house and Rowley's, and Fregley is always hanging out in his front yard, so it's pretty hard to avoid him.
Want to see my secret freckle?
No thanks. Fregley is in my phys ed class at school, and he has this whole made-up language. Like when he needs to go to the bathroom, he says,
Juice! Juice!
Us kids have pretty much figured Fregley out by now, but I don't think the teachers have really caught on yet.
Okay, kid, gee whiz.
Today I probably would have gone up to Rowley's on my own anyway because my brother Rodrick and his band were practicing down in the basement. Rodrick's band is really awful, and I can't stand being home when they're having rehearsals. His band is called Loaded Diaper, only it's spelled different on Rodrick's van. You might think he spelled it that way to make it look cooler, but I bet if you told Rodrick how Loaded Diaper is really spelled, it would be news to him. Dad was against the idea of Rodrick starting a band, but Mom was all for it. She's the one who bought Rodrick his first drum set. I think Mom has this idea that we're all going to learn to play instruments and then become one of those family bands like you see on TV. In fact, earlier today, Rodrick was listening to one of his CDs in the family room, and Mom came in and started dancing.
Hey mom, cut it out.
What? I'm not allowed to enjoy music in my own house?
I can't do this.
That really bugged Rodrick, so he drove off to the store and came back 15 minutes later with some headphones, and that pretty much took care of the problem. Yesterday, Rodrick got a new heavy metal CD, and it had one of those parental warning stickers on it. I have never gotten to listen to one of those parental warning CDs because Mom and Dad never let me buy them at the mall. So I realized the only way I was going to get a chance to listen to Rodrick's CD was if I snuck it out of the house. This morning, after Rodrick left, I called up Rowley and told him to bring his CD player to school. I went to Rodrick's room and took the CD off his rack. You're not allowed to bring personal music players to school, so we had to wait to use it until after lunch when the teachers let us outside. As soon as we got the chance, me and Rowley snuck around the back of the school and loaded up Rodrick's CD. I think something is wrong with your CD player. It's not working.
Check the batteries? Could be that.
Unfortunately, Rowley forgot to put batteries in his CD player, so it's pretty much worthless. I have an idea. We should see who can shake the headphones off without using our hands, and whoever does it the fastest wins.
I like it. You're on, Greg.
I had the record with 7.5 seconds, but I think I shook some of my fillings loose with that one. Right in the middle of our game, Mrs. Craig came around the corner and caught us red-handed. She took the music player away from me and started chewing us out, but I think she had the wrong idea about what we were doing back there.
Don't you boys know that rock and roll is evil and will ruin your brain?
I was going to tell her that there weren't even any batteries in the CD player, but I could tell she didn't want to be interrupted, so I just waited until she was done, and then I said yes ma'am, but right when she was about to let us go, Rowley started blubbering about how he doesn't want rock and roll to ruin his brains. Honestly, sometimes I just don't know about that boy. Well, now I've done it. Last night, after everyone was in bed, I snuck downstairs to listen to Rodrick's CD on the stereo in the family room. I put Rodrick's new headphones on and cranked up the volume really high. Then I hit play. First, let me just say, I can definitely understand why they put that parental warning sticker on the CD. But I only got to hear about 30 seconds of the first song before I got interrupted.
Greg, upstairs now.
Dad marched me up to my room and shut the door behind him, and then he said,
Let's you and me have a talk, friend.
Whenever Dad says friend that way, you know you're in trouble. The first time Dad ever said friend like that to me, I didn't get that he was being sarcastic, so I kind of let my guard down. I don't make that mistake anymore. Tonight, Dad yelled at me for about 10 minutes, and then I guess he decided he'd rather be in bed than standing in my room in his underwear. He told me I was grounded from playing video games for 2 weeks, which is about what I expected. I guess I should be glad that's all he did. The good thing about Dad is that when he gets mad, he cools off real quick, and then it's over. Usually if you mess up in front of Dad, he just throws whatever he's got in his hands at you. Mom has a totally different style when it comes to punishment. If you mess up and Mom catches you, the first thing she does is take a few days to figure out what your punishment should be. And while you're waiting, you do all these nice things to try to get off easier. I just dusted the dining room, for the heck of it.
How thoughtful of you.
But then after a few days, right when you forget you're in trouble, that's when she lays it on you.
Are you having fun?
Yeah.
No video games for a week.
The only good thing about Mom's punishments is that she's pretty soft, so if you lay low for a while, you can pretty much always get out of the punishment early.
Have you learned your lesson?
Yes.
Okay then.
This video game ban is a whole lot tougher than I thought it would be, but at least I'm not the only one in the family who's in trouble. Rodrick's in some hot water with Mom right now, too. Manny got a hold of one of Rodrick's heavy metal magazines, and on one of the pages had a picture of a woman in a bikini lying across the hood of a car, and then Manny brought it into daycare for show and tell. Anyway, I don't think Mom was too happy about getting that phone call. I saw the magazine myself, and it honestly wasn't anything to get worked up over, but Mom doesn't allow that kind of stuff in the house. Rodrick's punishment was that he had to answer a bunch of questions for Mom.
Did owning this magazine make you a better person?
No.
Did it make you a more popular person at school?
No.
How do you feel about having owned this magazine now?
I feel ashamed.
Do you have anything you want to say to women for having owned this offensive magazine?
I'm sorry, women.
I'm still grounded from playing video games, so Manny has been using my system. Mom went out and bought a bunch of educational games, and watching Manny play them is like torture.
What number comes after 2 and rhymes with tree?
3! 3! The good news is that I finally figured out how to get some of my games past Rowley's dad. I just put one of my discs in Manny's Discovering the Alphabet case, and that's all it takes. At school today, they announced that student government elections are coming up. To be honest with you, I've never had any interest in student government, but when I started thinking about it, I realized getting elected treasurer could totally change my situation at school.
We cheerleaders are tired of riding to games in the same bus as the nerds in the band.
Let me see what I can do. And then I thought, even better.
We jocks just need an air pump to inflate our only football.
I don't see why not. Oh yeah, I forgot. You guys are jerks. Yeah, sorry, can't help you with that. Nobody ever thinks about running for treasurer because all anyone ever cares about are the big ticket positions like president and vice president. So I figure if I sign up tomorrow, the treasurer job is pretty much mine for the taking. Today I went and put my name on the list to run for treasurer. Unfortunately, this kid named Marty Porter is running for treasurer too, and he's real brainy at math. So this might not be as easy as I thought. I figured I was gonna have to get some help on this. Dad, you got a minute?
Sure, Greg, what is it?
I am running for student government at school.
Wait, really? Greg, that's great. I think I still have some of my old campaign posters wait right here.
I thought the poster idea was pretty good, so I asked Dad to drive me to the store to get some supplies. I loaded up on poster board and markers and spent the rest of my night working on all my campaign stuff, so let's just hope these posters work. This morning when I woke up, it was raining, so I had to wrap all my campaign posters in garbage bags so the magic marker didn't run. I started hanging my posters up as soon as I got in, but I should have known it wouldn't last long.
Greg, what are you doing?
Hanging up campaign posters?
You are not allowed to write fabrications about the other candidates.
But it actually happened. Back in 2nd grade, the school got closed down because of it.
If I catch you putting fabrications up again, you are in big trouble, mister.
He took down all my posters. So today, Marty Porter was going around handing out lollipops to buy himself votes, while my posters were sitting at the bottom of Mr. Roy's trash can.
Good morning, class. Just a friendly reminder that there will be no negative campaigns in the student council elections. I had to take some posters down earlier, and this is your one warning.
I guess this means my political career is officially washed up, and it really doesn't matter either since I found out yesterday that student council meetings are held during recess. I mean, what kind of a fool made that rule? That's a pretty good way to guarantee that all your student council members are nerds. Then again, that's probably what the teachers were hoping for when they set it up that way. Last week we had a history test and I actually studied for it. I noticed this kid named Dwight Harrington was copying off me during the test. I wouldn't have cared all that much, but right before the test he had thrown a pencil eraser across the room and it landed in my ear. So during the test I wrote down all the wrong answers on purpose and made sure Dwight could see my paper. Then at the last second, I changed all my answers to the right ones and handed in my test. So today, when we got our test back, I got a B-. But I don't think I could say the same for Dwight.
Dwight Harrington, you will be transferring to Mrs. Bunn's class for the rest of the year.
That's where all the kids who get held back are. I just hope Dwight never finds out about the trick I pulled, because if he does, I'll have a lot more to worry about than a pencil in my ear. Tomorrow we have student council elections, and I'm pretty freaked out about it. I forgot to officially drop out of the race, and Mr. Roy won't let me take my name off the ballot for the election. So if I actually win this thing, I'm going to have to spend all my recesses inside for student council meetings. I'm trying to figure out a way to make sure that doesn't happen. Today, we had elections in the morning, and at the end of the day, they announced the winners. Marty Porter won treasurer, which was a big relief for me. That head lice issue had actually started to make the rounds again, and I was afraid I might get elected by default. So I dropped some comments in the hallway yesterday before the elections that seemed to be enough to do the trick. Boy, I hope we can save up enough money in the treasury to buy school uniforms. So yeah, that pretty much sums up my week with this whole student election thing, and Rodrick's CD.
Greg, who you talking to?